the biggest news of the day, obviously, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade agreeing to play together in Miami. What do you think changed with Bosh? All along, he's been adamant about getting a max deal, that extra year, and avoid leaving around $30 million on the table. Did something change, or is the sign and trade still in play?
No, the sign and trade is still in play. They can do a combination of draft picks and money and a big trade exception, and I think that's what Toronto was looking for. If they get a trade exception, that would allow them to make a deal at the trade deadline, bring in a big player, or this summer. They'd have a year to use it. So I think that's what they're going to wind up doing. For Chris, I think it's just once he decided he didn't want to go to Cleveland with LeBron, I'm not sure that Chicago by himself made a lot of sense. If Dwayne's preference seemed to be Miami, even though he was very influenced and very much torn about going back to Chicago, his hometown, because he's got two kids there, and he wants to be near them. But at the end of the day, they decided that the combination of playing in Miami, the state income tax situation, no state income tax in Florida, made it worth their while to go team up with each other down there.
D.A., how do you think, with these two guys, that's obviously a great addition for the Miami Heat, but what do you think is the next thing for them to address as far as personnel?
Well, they still think there's a chance that they could bring LeBron in, so they're going to wait and see what happens tomorrow night. If that doesn't happen, then they have some other things that they need to do. Obviously, they need to get a point guard. They need to get a shooter. Dwayne Wade was adamant that he needed some help, and that's one reason why the Ray Allen story is big, because Ray Allen was one of the guys that Dwayne really was focusing in on as somebody that he might be able to come down to Miami and help him out next year. So now they have to go in another direction. So they need a shooter and a point guard. They need a center. They've been talking to Brendan Haywood, and that might be more enticing for Brendan now that he knows that Bosh is going to be down there with him. So they've got some ability to do things. They still have some room, not quite a max contract, but they can get close, and probably close enough that if they all took a bit of a haircut, they could get three guys there.
I guess the most significant question right now is how much better are they right now? We may be asking the same question again tomorrow night, depending on what happens with LeBron. But right now, does the addition of Bosh make them a championship caliber team?
Well, no. I mean, they're not a championship caliber team. I think they're a much better team. Are they a top 4 team in the East? Absolutely. But Orlando's still pretty good. Boston, as you can see, is putting its team back together. And Cleveland, if LeBron were to go back, that team did win 61 games last year. So there's still some pretty good teams in the East, and Atlanta is going to be the same too, with Joe Johnson coming back and probably adding another piece there. So it's not, Chris Bosh is a terrific player, but does not make them the favorite in the East, to me.